Hey, it's Casey Dimon here, TaxSaleAcademy.com. In today's video, we're discussing three major tax sale investing risks. The truth is, there's a number of risks when it comes to tax sale investing. I've experienced the consequences of many of these risks over my tax sale investing career, and I teach about that in the Academy. Now, all the risks fall under one or more of the three main primary risks that we're about to discuss. First of all, let's talk about the primary risk, the first risk that everybody thinks of, and that is to lose money. This is going to come to the top of everybody's head when it comes to any investment risk. The truth is, if you invest in tax defaulted properties, real estate, or any other investment, you can lose money. There's a variety of ways, of course, to lose money. Some of these include the following: incorrectly valuing property, just not understanding the value of the property. That's going to be the primary reason. Besides that, it could be buying a piece of property you shouldn't have for whatever reason. You'd also get caught in emotional bidding and bidding something above your max bid amount. You can also be unable to sell the property due to the demand just not being there like you thought it would be. Maintenance issues can kill you. A variety of other, usually avoidable issues certainly do exist and can cause you to lose money. The second risk is wasting time. Now, for some investors, this might be more harmful than actually losing money. Time is, of course, the only commodity that we won't get any more of. So it could be a huge, huge factor for you. Now, what can cause us to waste time? There's two primary reasons, and they're both easily avoidable. Number one is breaking even on investments. Obviously, nobody wants to do that. And number two is attending auctions where the properties are canceled or where the entire auction is canceled. Of course, you don't want to show up and not have anything for you to buy. Now, let's talk about risk number three: civil and criminal issues. This is often going to be the risk that is the least thought of. The issue is not really in a lot of people's minds, but it can be the most serious issue that there is. First of all, let's talk about the civil issues. Now, some homeowner associations and property associations are ready, willing, and able to go after everyone that falls behind on their dues. This could mean dues that you didn't even know existed. You buy a piece of property, didn't even know it was in an HOA or POA. Of course, you should have done better research and known that ahead of time, but suppose you did. Well, guess what? The HOA can come after you. They'll send their attorneys after you, creditors after you, bill collectors. They'll send a lot of people after you to collect on that money, and if you don't pay, they can actually go on your credit. Water's another one. Many municipalities offer water service. They plumb water right to your lot. Even if you don't use it, they still have minimum monthly fees that you have to pay. If you don't pay these fees, they can send the city or county attorney after you, which can, of course, add on judgments and attorney's fees, interest, and all sorts of other fun stuff. You have to also consider that you could purchase a piece of property that has contamination. Guess what? If you see an old gas station that seems like a great deal at tax sale auction, it might not be that great of a deal. It could have underground tanks, and a lot of times those underground tanks are going to be leaking. And of course, the EPA could come after you to clean up that underground contamination, and that's very, very expensive. And then, of course, there's your criminal risk. That's right, I said criminal, as in jail. This is where you really need to understand what you're getting yourself into when it comes to tax sale investing. Lose time, lose money, ruin your credit, all those can be repaired over time. It's not that big of a deal when it comes down to it. But if you go to jail for tax sale investing and not know what you're doing, it's probably going to be an experience that you'll never forget. So how does that happen? How can tax sale investing land you in jail? Well, here's how it happens. Some cities have very strict ordinances for vacant structures or structures of all kinds to prevent blight and to keep the community nice. These include grass height restrictions, trash restrictions, broken window clauses, all sorts of other fun stuff like that. Now, suppose you buy a dilapidated house that you'll think you'll wholesale in a month or two, make lots of money off of. The next day you get a written warning from the county code enforcement officer about a pile of tires in your backyard. And believe me, it's not a coincidence that you get it the day after you purchase it. A lot of city and county code enforcement officers follow these auctions very, very closely. So you get that warning, and then you just kind of ignore it. A couple weeks later, you get a criminal citation for littering. You also ignore that because it's kind of silly, to pay $300 because you got a few tires in the backyard. It's silly, right? So you ignore that too. Well, guess what? A few weeks later, you get a letter from the county judge saying that you need to come and explain yourself. Why didn't you respond? You ignore that one too. It's silly. You're out of state, you're traveling, you're on vacation, whatever. Guess what? A couple weeks after that date goes by, you get a notice that you have a warrant out for your arrest for failure to appear. Obviously, this is something that can be avoidable. There aren't any secrets or gimmicks that are out there. When it comes down to it, you just have to know what you're doing to keep yourself from losing money, losing time, and ending up in court or jail. Do not invest in tax sale properties without first learning how to do it. I'm going to say that one more time. Don't invest in tax sale properties without first learning how to do it. I don't care if you learn from me or anyone else that's out there, but you have to learn. There's a lot of information about real estate investing on the internet. There's some information about real estate investing when it comes to tax defaulted properties on the internet. There is no magical formula when it comes down to it. You just have to learn what the heck you're doing before you dive in. A lot of the information that's out there is, it's not the best quality and it might not be the most accurate, but at least make an attempt to do it before you end up in jail just because you didn't take any effort whatsoever. I've seen it time and time again. I've seen a lot of people get crushed by this business. If you'd like to learn more information from me, you can head over to the taxsaleacademy.com. Again, that's taxsaleacademy.com. You can do it by clicking the blue link right here if you're on a desktop. Otherwise, if you're on a mobile device, just type taxsaleacademy.com into your browser. Take the time to learn, and again, there's no shortcuts, there's no gimmicks, no secrets. You just have to learn what you're doing when it comes to tax sale investing. I really hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.